this building?
Well, this building has been a wonderful location for us for a long time. We've been here since 1993. It's a mom and pop store. It was a good location, good corner location. But as our sales grew, we felt like we were stretching the limits of the building. In the natural foods industry, annual sales per square foot of $800, that's time to consider an expansion. And that's the time when we did consider an expansion. That was in 1998. It took us until 2004 to locate the right site and acquire it. Now our sales per square foot annually are $2,400 a year. We're way past being a little uncomfortable. We're into abusing our customers and abusing our staff by making them function in an environment that's just too crowded.
This is where LEED was important. LEED is Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. It's a rating system for the United States Green Building Council, and it was a way that we could score ourselves on this project and know how well we did. There was no question that this was going to be a green project. Given the lifestyle and the philosophy of the co-op and its members, it was going to be a green building project. The question was how well we could do.
Why did you choose to use the U.S. Green Building Council's rating system, LEED rating system?
We decided to go with the LEED system because it was a structure that we understood. In our industry, we support the organic standards, and they use a certifying system. And it's not a point system, but it's a very clear set of criteria that you have to comply with in order to qualify to be considered an organic retailer. And we felt that we could understand the need to have certification, a third-party certification, that you really did these things that you're saying you did to make your building less of an impact on the environment, more energy conscious, a healthier environment for the people to work in. Those were all our goals. We could say we were doing them, but this LEED program gives us a chance to say to the community, we really did them.
And now you'll see how the team gave the building and the site an extreme makeover.
So this is our building, the former C.W. Chips building. It's got good structure, but it kind of needs a makeover. It hasn't been updated in probably 40 years, 20 years here. And what we're planning to do here is we're planning to get rid of some of those old parts that are kind of left over from years past. We're going to do a laser peel, and we're going to peel off some of this front structure that you see here. And then we're going to do a brow lift and kind of accentuate the entry back over this corner here. And then we're thinking about a refenestration. Refenestration, let some light into this. Let's let it breathe a little bit. We'll add some windows across here. We'll get a new entry over here. Then, what we need to do is a roofectomy. They haven't replaced this roof. I think it's the original roof. 50 years. It's amazing. It's a record. So we'll be putting on a new roof up here. Along with that, we're going to be adding some land augmentation. We're going to make it look pretty. We're going to add some growies over here. We're going to add a little canopy across the front where we can have special events and things for sale out there. And along with that, we've got it's not just about the beauty on the exterior, it's about the interior. We're going to give it a whole heart and lung transplant, a whole new nervous system. We're going to give it new electrical, new mechanical. It's going to be all new on the inside and outside. It's going to be freshened up. It's going to be wonderful. Part of our effort to make the building appear more youthful and reinvigorated was our brow lift. Now, I don't remember if you recall the canopy that was on the front of the building before. We removed that dark canopy and we're replacing it with a new light canopy made out of recycled Douglas fir timbers with a clear polygal top on it. It'll be a great space for plants and for events underneath. Here we are up on the roof, the site of our roofectomy. As you can see, it's almost complete now. This is sustainable site number 7.2 on our LEED chart. what we have is, you can see it's very different. We have a white roof up here. Usually you have a black roof, but here what we're trying to do is reduce the heat island effect that's caused from the sun beating down on warm surfaces. This is a problem in urban areas, and you ask, why is this a problem in Duluth, Minnesota? We're in northern Minnesota. Well, in this area, you can kind of see around, and there's a lot of parking lots. There's a lot of gray, dark surfaces that are absorbing heat and is creating a microclimate right in this area. And also, with this particular building type, with a supermarket, you have a large amount of cooling loads required to keep this store cool. So, in fact, in this particular case, in northern Minnesota, a white roof makes perfect sense. Environmental quality 8.2 in LEED talks about daylighting of the space. As you can see, we've added a number of windows in our re-fenestration. This is to bring in plenty of natural light into the interior of the space. Natural light is good, it's healthy for the people that work inside here, the people that are shopping. It also provides views out across. We even have some views of Lake Superior out the back. Sustainable site point number 1 and material resource point number 1.1 deal with the reuse of buildings. It's important to reuse existing buildings. Number 1, there's the embodied energy within those buildings that doesn't have to be replaced with new materials. Also, these buildings are part of a site, and we do not have to provide new infrastructures. We don't have to use new green fields out on the periphery of our city. So it's important to reuse our existing buildings. Now, we earned the point on MR 1.1 by reusing over 75% of the existing building. In truth, we calculated that we had almost 90% of our existing building shell reused for this project.
So, Dr. Scotty Beam, PE, it must have been hard to do the engineering for the reuse of this building.
Can't defy the laws of physics.
We also have delivery issues. We're on a busy two-way street at a stop sign corner on a hill. All our deliveries come in the front door, which means 80-foot semis are sitting out there on 4th Street blocking the stop sign, blocking pedestrians from the view of oncoming traffic, and unloading on the sidewalk, and then everything, thousands and thousands of pounds of food a week coming in the front door to be processed. And it's not an efficient way to run a grocery store. So that we have a lot of reasons why we want to move. We wish we could take Chester Creek with us. If you could work that out, that would be great. We're really going to miss Chester Creek. But we did manage to stay on 4th Street, so that's the good news.
Land augmentation. Yes, we're here at Whole Foods Co-op, and this is an Xtreme makeover. This particular project site came about after months of, maybe years, of looking for different project sites in Duluth, and they happened to select one that was an inner city site that could be reconfigured, reestablished, and very sustainable in keeping utilities here. All the infrastructure they needed was right here. It was a good thing to do, so they can be proud of that, not wasting resources. So that's the big one. The other one is land augmentation as far as the parking lot goes. We have the ability to use up, according to zoning, based on the square footage, 90 parking spaces. Whoops, sorry, I can't see. Beyond that, we have 11 carpooling spots, which is enormous for this size of facility. So carpooling is going to be a prominent part of our society now that we know that fuel is going to be up to $8 a gallon in another week. So be prepared. Start carpooling. Enjoy sharing with your friends, or even not friends, because it's going to be a popular thing. The other part of this is water conservation. We have put in plants in the design here that would be efficient. They're not going to suck moisture out of our resources. They're going to be just sitting there dry, but they can handle it. They're tough plants, and the natives are grasses and forbs, otherwise known as wildflowers, that will fill in along the perimeter of the building. We're not going to irrigate. There'll only be water put on to get these plants started, and that's it. So it's going to be very sustainable as far as land augmentation.
Hi, I'm Dr. E. Williams, here to talk to you about the laser peel. The skin of the building is like the skin of a person. It keeps all the good stuff inside and keeps the elements outside. This is the existing skin of this building. We've got concrete block here, we've got some vermiculite fill. It really is not up to date with a modern 21st century person and or building. So we've looked at energy modeling to look at how much energy this building uses, heating, cooling, etc. We've taken the outside of this building, we've added insulation on the outside, foam insulation here, a white rubber roof with additional insulation on the roof, furring strips to provide a good basis for mounting the outside skin on there, and make a little rain screen type thing. And we find in the energy modeling that this building goes from a source energy usage of about from 3 billions of BTUs to 2.5 billion BTUs. The heating energy goes down by 50% with the changes that we've done here on this envelope. Cooling energy, because we're keeping more of the energy in, however, does go up. But we do see a good 20% increase in the thermal performance of the laser peel.
Dr. Stuart Vent, HVAC, and I'm one of the heart and lung transplant technicians, specialists, and I provided the lung transplant and improved the heart performance by lowered energy requirements.
What did you do to meet the energy and atmosphere prerequisite to minimum energy
Well, we
performance?
required the efficiencies of the equipment that actually was installed to be 20 to 30% higher than what's required by the 90.1 referenced in the lead. And then we also, and one thing that came hand in hand with that was that we, with the higher energy efficient equipment, that they were also non-HCFC, so that helps with the non-ozone depleting refrigerants. So that was another lead point that we received with that. And even though 90.1 didn't require economizers on the size of equipment installed, this equipment will have economizers, so that decreases the energy requirements on the building also. The systems will be commissioned, and that's over and above what 90.1 would require for this building. And we also have a heat recovery on the store's refrigeration system, which will preheat the hot water, domestic hot water system. So there's additional energy that we're using there to decrease the performance requirement.
How has the lead process been to work with?
It's been a little more challenging, but I think it's important to be aware of the environmental impact of the construction process.
Great. And where is your recycling going to?
A lot of our recycling went to the common ground reclamation, and the rest of it, the materials recycling, has gone to BEAT. Sheetrock and the metal dumpsters and the cardboard.
Great. Dr. Jill Spratt, liposuction specialist, here to talk to you about the gutting of the interior of this building. This building was formerly a restaurant which had a lot of rooms. It was really divided into a lot of different spaces, so it was very thick with partitions. We gutted the entire interior so that we could have open space that would fit the program of the grocery store and let daylight in. So, and then we replaced what was here with basically open space, daylight, and healthy building materials. With environmental quality, we're meeting LEED point environmental quality credit 4.1 through 4.4 with low emitting materials. This is a natural food store. We wanted to keep the indoor air quality as clean as possible so that when people came in, they didn't smell any building materials. They would just smell the great smells of natural foods. So that meant that we would use low emitting materials, paints, carpets, adhesives and sealants to allow all of the great food odors all the great food smells to hit you when you come in the door instead of pow in the face with VOC smells. To achieve light pollution reduction on this project?
Well, light pollution reduction was achieved by using a lot of different and special fixtures. Most of the fixtures aim their light directly down so that we don't shoot it across the property lines. That's one of the LEED requirements. And when we were analyzing the parking lot lighting and we had poles on the outside perimeter, we had to use a very controlled lighting reflector which didn't allow the light to spill back behind the pole. We did end up using a pole in the middle of the parking lot for this project, however, which made it a lot easier to achieve that LEED cut point.
What about achieving minimum energy performance and optimizing the energy performance on this project?
Generally our designs have energy efficient lighting products. Some of the special lighting products that we used to minimize energy used LED technology, which is a new technology, and we have that technology used in a downlight by the outside back door and also on the step lighting fixtures. And another benefit from this is that these lamps last 50,000 hours as opposed to some of the other technologies. So side benefit for that. We've used controls for our lighting fixtures, automatic controls for the exterior that can keep them on only during dark hours. And we also have the option for some of the lights to be turned off during times where the building is closed so that they don't have to stay on all night. That might save some energy as well and put some flexibility into their control scheme.
It was truly serendipitous for us to become associated with LHB. The values that they represented, we incorporated in a number of site searches before we found this location. And it wasn't hard at all to decide that this was the group of architects we wanted to work with. The whole process has been such an education for me and for my staff and the board and the members of the co-op that have gotten to work with the design team. Right down from deciding issues like the logo and colors and flooring to the more important aspects of how we are going to comply with the LEED requirements. One of the principles of being a co-op is a belief in ongoing education. And I think that this time maybe the co-op is serving the community in an unusual way in that the education that we've allowed for our members and their commitment to this project is supporting education of many contractors in this area about the LEED project. We had the support of our general contractor and we brought along our subcontractors, sometimes willingly and sometimes grudgingly, into the process. But they did all eventually accept it and learn from it and recognize that this is something that is going to be of value to them in their business as more and more LEED projects become part of what's happening in our community. We are so excited to have this project nearly finished. I can't believe it. It's been such a long process and such a learning process. I keep remembering the old adage about education. It's like a parachute. It's better to have it and not to need it than to need it and not have it. And we've learned a lot with this project and we needed it. We all need it.
Boo 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 boo.
Lead point, I'll say those again.
EQ.
Lead item,
EQ.
EQ.
8.1.
Start over.
Fenestration, and that's where you're just like, saying brow lift and refenestration, a laser peel, a roofectomy, liposuction, a heart and lung transplant, and lead augmentation. You can just like take.
We met the. Yeah, you have to start it. I'm going to start that. You're going to cut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Cut! Cut check, print the gate, moving on.
Now you'll see how the team gave the building and the site. Try to get it on the first one. Are you on?
Brought in healthy materials that would not, I cannot think of what I'm supposed to say.
That's okay.
What else do I want to talk about?
It was up over here. This was at Valley Fair. That was not a
Your
good
shirt was
experience.
up over your head?
Well,
It felt like
no,
that?
it was up at least this far, trying to get that D out of my shirt.
Our building, the former CW Chips building. And we take a look at this and I can start over again. I just...
For that. Another thing that you can take that out of there.
Liposuction specialists always have green eyes.
And we find in the energy modeling that this building goes from a source energy usage of about 3 million BTUs per year to 2.5 million BTUs per year. And I don't think that's the right number. It's actually 3 billion. Billion, I have to say. He's going to edit this anyway, so billions and billions of BTUs. So we go from 3 billions of BTUs to 2.5 billion.
星になる日まで君にお届け固まる魔法をかけたジュジュジュビジュは